pain medicine in a patch. You stick it right on sore muscles for up to 8 hours. Clinical research has shown that people that used Salonpas reported less pain with improvement in mood, sleep, and the ability to work. Safe, effective relief is one peel and place away. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Dell Technologies Black Friday event has arrived with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 50% off select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Listen. You can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Tuesday afternoon to you. And yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on WNSR. 2 hours of fast-paced, fun, knowledge, professional.
About to say, you're searching for adjectives here.
Accuracy, which is better than Joe Milton. We'll be better at throwing than Joe Milton.
Man,
is that too soon?
Can we let him play a full game?
Well, we've seen Joe Milton in his career.
Yeah, I guess so.
Justin. I mean, it's not like
I guess so.
He's taken 4 snaps.
No, he's got more PT than that.
He's got some seat time.
You know, it'll be interesting to watch. Look,
we are allowed to say that. We are Tennessee honks. Remember? We're allowed to say that.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember anything about what you're talking about at all, sir.
Tennessee shills. Come on, you know that.
Yes.
Come on.
We're all Vols for life in here. All of us with our big orange, and including Devlin, who's got the big orange on this.
He does.
No, that's not the big orange. That's not
dog pound.
That's not the big orange. That's a different kind of big orange over there.
Browns, yep.
Okay.
By the way, that takes guts. Wear the Browns swag.
Listen, if you're going to be a Cleveland fan, it takes guts, period. It takes guts to be a
Cleveland
right. fan. It
you
does.
Never wear anything.
Does. It
You're
takes
right.
guts to be a Cleveland fan. It just is what it is.
That's true. That's
not an insult. That's not a judgment.
That's
reality. It
reality.
just takes guts.
Yeah, that's reality. Smacking you right in the face.
It is.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot.
It's tough life. Yeah.
No.
You have no idea. Trust me. I think you know, but you ain't been alive long enough to know. It's been rough on those folks over there.
Oh, I lived it, so I know.
I know Darren's lived it, but I mean, you think, and I can say this as a Cubs fan, I thought I understood the pain, but then I have to do some research to figure out, this just didn't start the other day. This has been going on for how long? And what happened in 84? And what happened in 68? And what happened in 69?
This will make Devlin turn his head like a dog that hears a weird noise, like, huh? I was at the Browns-Broncos game.
Don't do it.
Yeah. I was at that game.
Oh, gosh.
1994, right? When They
which one are you talking about?
Bernie Kosar the next day.
Okay, yeah, that would have been the night.
Beloved son of the city of Cleveland.
The Browns and Broncos have had several.
Oh yeah,
so you can't just say that.
Well, there's a trivia question. Bernie Kosar's last ever game as a member of the Cleveland Browns was against the Denver Broncos. Broncos won. Bill Belichick, the coach of the Cleveland Browns. This is the story I've always been told. Told Bernie Kosar to spike the ball or take the knee, or not spike the ball, take a knee, call it a day. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Bernie said some choice words in the huddle, basically the heck with him.
Yeah.
And he threw a bomb down the right side to Michael Jackson.
To the corner of the end zone, touchdown. Yeah,
touchdown. I was there. And again, this is always what I've been told. I have no idea if it's true or not. But I was told that Bill confronted Bernie down the tunnel, and it led to some, let's just say.
Was it down the tunnel?
Fisticuffs.
Yeah. Fisticuffs.
Uh-huh.
And a much younger Bill Belichick.
Little separation. And he was cut the next day.
Well.
Again, I don't know if that's ever been reported. I don't know if that's ever been put out there. It's just what I was always told.
Just pause real quick.
I didn't see it.
Devlin, do you know who Bernie Kosar is?
I do not.
Yeah. Okay, see, so that's my point. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
By the way, you can stop right there. Like you literally just slammed down your point and just ran out of the room. You literally don't need to follow it up with anything. He's wearing Cleveland Brown stuff, and you said, "Do you know who Bernie Kosar is?" And he's like, "Never heard of him." So you literally don't need to say anything else.
We don't have to go back further. We don't need to talk about.
Nope. We
ain't got to talk about drives and fumbles and we ain't got to do all that.
Nope. Them leaving, all that good stuff.
We ain't got to do Art Modell. We ain't got to do all that. No.
Nope. You did it, man.
He knows that though.
It's a walk-off.
He knows that part. I mean, everybody knows that part.
I would hope.
About the team leaving and stuff,
I would hope. Remember when I said I've been watching the Hard Knocks about the Arizona Cardinals?
Yes.
Do you remember what I said about their head coach?
You said he was on his way to being fired.
Yeah. I feel stronger about that today.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, I do.
After what we saw last night in Mexico City.
They got wiped. I mean, they just got wiped in Mexico City.
Yeah.
They don't look like a very good team.
And it's not just because they're missing their quarterback. I think it's deeper than that.
There's stuff going on. As I swirl my hands, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, there's stuff going on in the room. There just is.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a team that's about ready to start waving that flag that's the color white. And they're just about to say, hey, see you in 2023. See you, folks.
Well, we don't know who's going to be here in 2023.
Well, exactly. Well, that's my point. It doesn't look like a very inspired football team.
I mean, we saw some Trace McSorley last night.
Yeah. That's where they are.
Jeez.
So it's not good. And by the way, the 49ers, if they just played the teams in their division, gosh, they'd be running away with that division.
Yeah. They've got that figured out.
Have you seen it? Have you seen all their games this year against the division foes?
No.
Not only did they win, they've mopped them all.
Yeah.
They have absolutely obliterated everybody in the division.
Yeah. Well,
not even good games.
I mean, their head coach is the father, or is the son rather, of another very popular NFL head coach who, again, the importance of division games cannot be understated in this league. You have got to take care of business against your division opponents. And if you do, more times than not, you're going to have a lot of success in the National Football League. But, the division games are really important. They just are. And the 49ers helped themselves quite a bit with wins in the NFC West.
I want to ask you your take on this. First of all, let me give you the actual games just so you can hear it.
Sure.
And everybody out there listening. They beat the Cardinals last night 38-10.
Okay.
They beat the Rams a couple weeks ago 31-14.
Jeez.
They beat the Rams before that 24-9. So they've swept the Rams, which they own the Rams.
Goodbye the Rams.
Honestly, I think they've won like 9 out of the last 10 against the Rams.
Yeah.
They just own the Rams. and they beat the Seahawks 27-7. That's their division games this year. Yeah, not even a close game.
And Seattle's the other best team in their division.
Yep.
And for them to get them like that is jeez. So that sets them up in great position.
All right.
That means somebody's going to have to make the long flight out to San Francisco in January and play them, which is how you end up and how they keep ending up in NFC Championship games.
They're going to be probably a pretty scary team. So let me ask you this, as we circle this back around to the Titans, the home team.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to go to Cincinnati in about 10 minutes, and we will get a little Bengals update from Tony Pike, former Bearcats.
Bearcat,
former Bearcats quarterback. He's now doing radio in Cincinnati.
Very cool.
What is the biggest difference between who's better? Okay, let me phrase it this way. Who's better, the 49ers or the Titans, and why?
Yeah. I'm gonna say you can make cases,
exactly.
Both
That's why
ways.
I'm asking you.
I think.
You didn't think I was going to ask you an easy question.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think the Titans are slightly better than the 49ers for one reason and one reason alone, and that reason's name is Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel is just a better head coach.
Kyle Shanahan certainly gets a lot of accolades.
Nothing wrong with Kyle Shanahan.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing wrong with Kyle Shanahan. So Kyle Shanahan has done a fantastic job.
But that's enough for you to be like a separator? Like, oh, Vrabel, they got the coaching box checked.
I don't think Kyle Shanahan could do what Mike Vrabel has done here with the hand dealt to him. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is I don't know who else could have done it, but I don't think there's a lot of guys who could have done what Mike Vrabel's been able to do here with the hand dealt to him as far as injuries, as far as the lack of production of early draft picks for the last number of years now. I mean, this team doesn't have 3 of its last 4 first-round draft picks on the field. They're not there. I mean, that's brutal. And I don't know if the 49ers get – I mean, I don't know right off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure the 49ers have done a little better than that probably.
Okay. Let me counter that.
Even though Trey Lance is not playing for them.
So the 49ers traded up and traded for drafted their franchise quarterback, Trey Lance.
Yes.
They were prepared for 2022 to be Trey Lance.
They were.
That was their guy.
Yeah.
Their franchise quarterback.
Going all in.
He gone. Well, back to Jimmy Garoppolo, which, oh, by the way, we all had Jimmy Garoppolo traded and out of there.
They were looking for trades.
They kept him.
Couldn't find one.
They kept him. How's their running game been the last several years? You know, when they've been making runs to NFC Championship games or Super Bowls, how's that big running game? They've Jeff Wilson, where's he? Yeah, he's in Miami.
They've been run by committee.
How's Mostert? Oh, yeah, he's in Miami too. I mean, I can keep going. These guys, they just go committee. One guy gets hot for a month and then he disappears.
Listen, they've been
and goes
running Deebo Samuels.
They don't. So that's my point. My point is,
wide receiver
thank you,
or tight end or whatever.
This is awesome. He's making my point for me.
Offensive weapon.
It's great. It's so bad they converted their receiver to be their best running back.
Yes,
that's how bad it is. Yes, they just traded for Christian McCaffrey, so that's changed a little bit. Okay,
that helps. Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill, who's better?
You know, and I was thinking about this earlier.
Devlin's flipping coin.
Yeah, I was going to say I think they're basically almost the same guy.
I don't know who was heads and who was tails, but
you know,
he flipped it.
I would take Jimmy G a little bit over Ryan Tannehill by eyelash.
Ooh, really?
By eyelash. But I mean, honestly, you're taking about the same chance in a big game with either one of them that they're going to come out here and win. You don't want either guy throwing the ball 40 times for you. And that's not who they are, so it's okay. If you've got the right system for them, you can make it work with them. But, you know.
Go back and look at last year and this year. Now, not to the degree of the Titans because nobody had it to the degree of the Titans. 49ers lost players left and right, too. Lost players left and right, especially on defense. Important, impactful players. They've been extended periods without. I guess what I'm getting at is I think they both mirror each other.
They do.
I think they have got issues.
Yeah.
They've got warts.
Yeah.
They're not perfect.
No.
But yet they both have two head coaches that somehow always find a way to keep winning.
Yeah. No, they've been very
to
successful.
keep it at a high level, no matter injuries, no matter deficiencies, no matter weaknesses. They find a way. San Francisco said, okay, fine. We don't have a capable running back. You know what, Deebo Samuel, you're our number one receiver. You're also going to be our number one running back.
Yeah,
I don't know how many coaches in the league would do that.
Reproduced a running game.
And, by the way, he was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Titans, they lose this guy. They lose that guy. They lose that guy. Enter who? Enter who?
Yeah.
Enter back there who?
Practice squad or us.
Who are these guys? They don't need a kicker. I mean, again, they have all these things that other teams would just fold up the tent and call it a season, like the Arizona Cardinals. Yet the Titans and the 49ers, they seem to have two guys, no matter what adversity they face, no matter what challenges they have directly in front of them, they figure out a way to overcome them.
Yeah.
And just keep marching along and stacking wins.
Yeah. No, they've been very successful. And it's been impressive to watch and fun to watch, even though it's been frustrating to watch at times as well. And I know the 49er fans probably feel the same way because neither one of them have been able to come home with the big one despite all the success.
Now, the question is,
that close.
Can you get, and when can you get there, and can you win with those guys under center? That is the thing.
The Philadelphia Eagles have shown us that you can. What they've also shown us there in Philadelphia is that it's incredibly hard and you need all the stars and everything to line up just right to make it happen. So, yes, you can win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. And if you can win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, then you can win the Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill or Jimmy G. You just need all the matchups and everything else to line up just right for you, and then you can go make it happen. Yes. It's just really hard. It'd be much easier with Patrick Mahomes. It'd be much easier with Tom Brady. It would be much easier with, Lamar Jackson. But if you don't have them, this is who you got. So what are you going to do?
Well, don't forget, Jim Harbaugh took Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl.
He did.
And Kyle Shanahan has taken Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl.
He did.
Sean McVay has taken Jared Goff to the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yes.
Now, none of those resulted in wins.
No.
But they did get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, listen, average quarterbacks, let's call them that for lack of a better term.
Well, they're not average because if they can get there, they're above average. They're just not elite.
Yeah,
they're above average.
Okay, fine.
Average quarterbacks don't get to Super Bowls.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, give me one.
Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman and, dare I say it, in our town. I don't hope Trent. Hope your earmuffs, Trent. Earmuffs, Trent.
I'm not even mentioning Trent. I'm not even mentioning Trent. I'm just saying Rex Grossman got to the Super Bowl here, within fairly recent memory, depending on your age, I guess.
What about Tampa? They won it with Brad.
Well, Brad Johnson and company was, a slightly different, I guess.
Again, different era.
A slightly different era, a little bit.
Yep. No, it is. It was.
I consider, because Rex Grossman and the Bears were 07, I believe, with Peyton and them.
No, it was 06.
Was it 06?
I covered the Super Bowl in Miami.
So
it rained the entire game.
So, the difference between, and the Bucks were only 02, but, there was a slight changing of the guard there, sort of.
So I guess it would have been maybe to be technical, it was 07, 06
January
season.
07.
Yeah.
February
07.
Yeah, or February. February 07, excuse me. See, showing my date, dating myself when the Super Bowl used to be played in January. Remember that? Definitely remember that. The Super Bowl used to be played in January. You didn't know that?
Calling me out for no reason.
You
over
didn't
here,
know
guys.
that? No,
I didn't say anything. I sat back. I was like, I think I said enough.
No. I'm just asking the question. Okay, see, the Super Bowl used to be played in January every year. There was no February Super Bowl. That's a relatively new invention.
Little known fact: the Super Bowl used to not sell out. Used to not be the big ticket.
I'm 23 years old for those listeners out there. Okay, I don't know everything. I don't.
I didn't say you knew everything, man. I'm not saying that. I know, man. You good. No, I'm picking on definitely a little bit, and I appreciate his work that he does every day here and everything you do, man. Seriously, I'm not trying to pick.
I appreciate it. No, I'm the punching bag. It's all good. I'm just kidding.
No. I'm not trying. I don't want anybody to be a punching bag. But to look at where we are currently, in this NFL, to go back to your all the way full circle back to your original point, Darren, I think it is possible to get to a Super Bowl with a average to slightly above average quarterback. But the numbers have shown us, and we've been over this before here a few times, that in order to win the Super Bowl, the majority, let's just say it like this, the majority of the Super Bowl winners over the last 25 years, let's just call it that. That takes us all the way back to the late 90s. That takes us back to John Elway. The quarterbacks over the last 25 years, the majority of them have been Hall of Fame quarterbacks who've won the Super Bowl. The majority of them have been Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
We'll come back. We'll head to Cincinnati. We'll talk to former Bearcats quarterback Tony Pike. We'll talk about this Bengals team that's going to clash with the Titans yet again this Sunday. We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Football fans, make this a Thanksgiving to remember with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because when you bet an NFL same-game parlay from now through November 28th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. Just bet an NFL same-game parlay or same-game parlay plus of at least $20. The bigger you bet, the more you'll get back in free bets. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when you bet an NFL same-game parlay of 4 legs or more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 up and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
You don't sit behind a desk every day to earn a living. You're out and about making it happen. And sometimes you get a little bit behind on your paperwork, like bookkeeping and paying your taxes. It's easy to get behind on paying your taxes. It happens to the best of us. And you know what happens next. The big, bad IRS comes knocking on your door. And when that happens, you need to call the good old boys at the Tax Doctor. Let them do what they do best. Deal and negotiate with the IRS so you pay the lowest you can in back taxes that the law allows. We are a 100% U.S.-based company, and we've saved our clients millions over the years in back taxes. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call my friends right now at the Tax Doctor and learn more.
800-340-1040. 800-340-1040. 800-340-1040. Again, that's 800-340-1040. Paid for by the Tax Doctor.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a Bar Line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Line, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
Back here on the McFarland Show here on this Tuesday afternoon. Darren and Justin here with you. Well, the Titans fans are about to relive the pain that we all felt in January, Justin.
Man.
When everybody had to file out of Nissan Stadium.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Adelphia.
So they've been going down memory lane this whole
Adelphia LP.
And after 9 sacks of Joe Burrow, the Titans were not victorious. That would be the run that Cincinnati would have. That would be their second playoff win, and they would just keep it going all the way to the Super Bowl. And to talk about all that and more, Tony Pike is on the line with us, former Bearcats quarterback, now the host on ESPN 1530 there in Cincinnati. Tony, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing fantastic. Mike Vrabel was asked if this was a revenge game today, and he downplayed it tremendously. I know that doesn't surprise you, but
what?
That's the mentality here because
he ran for 3 minutes about how much he looks forward to.
He didn't pound the podium and just talk about how they've been thinking about this game.
Can't believe that.
And circling it since last January, but he was asked.
It was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen because as a Bengal fan and covering this team, you almost felt bad halfway through the game for Joe Burrow because the amount of times that Tennessee was getting to him. But, everyone highlighted this team's offense down the stretch. It really turned into Evan McPherson being clutch and the defense playing really, really well during that Super Bowl run. Joe Burrow was great, but the offensive line last year was not great. And the defense, which doesn't get talked about as much, had just as big of a role as anything in that team making that run, and certainly last year in Tennessee.
So I got to be honest, and I remember us talking about it. The start of the season at home against the Steelers, was that not one of the craziest games you've ever seen going back to begin the season? I know they just came off a win over the Steelers in Pittsburgh, but it just made me think of that game to kick off the season where that was probably one of the wildest and wackiest games I think I've ever seen.
You really don't game plan much, I think, through a whole off season where there was so much build-up in Cincinnati about coming off the Super Bowl, and then your long snapper goes down, and all of a sudden the operation from snap to hold to kick was completely off. So they couldn't kick a field goal. Special teams was out the window. Joe Burrow turned the ball over 5 times by himself, which will never happen again, you would think, in his career. And yet at the end of it, the Bengals still had plenty of chances to win. It was a remarkable game, but it was in the city of Cincinnati. It was heartbreak because after going to the Super Bowl, the offseason was unlike anything else that I've ever seen in Cincinnati. And next thing you know, that this team starts off 0-2, and you start looking up at the schedule, especially in the second half that starts with this Tennessee game, that there's a lot of must-win scenarios that the Bengals have created for themselves with that slow start.
How are they health-wise? We know Jamar Chase has been out, but I'm starting to hear stuff. Is he getting close to coming back? And dare I say, is he close enough to possibly be suiting up on Sunday?
The conversation, and we'll hear more from Zach Taylor tomorrow, the conversation after his Monday press conference was that Jamar Chase is on schedule now. He's off the crutches. He's going to start getting back into practice. Jamar Chase talked this week about talking to the media Wednesday or Thursday. I just don't know with resting it for 4 weeks what his stamina is like because it's a position where he's obviously asked to run every single down. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamar Chase plays under some sort of pitch count where he gets some snaps or some drives. But outside of that, this team got DJ Reader back last week. They made the move to go to Drew Chrisman at punter and put Kevin Huber on the bench, who's been the punter here since I can remember. And the biggest question for the Bengals now, health-wise, is that in the secondary. They lost Chidobe Awuzie, who was playing like a top 3 corner in the NFL, and they don't really have that answer yet. With Eli Apple, with Cam Taylor-Britt, who they drafted this year, the secondary is a question mark, but getting DJ Reader back on the front line should help that pass rush get home quicker.
Through 10 games last year and through 10 games this year, how do these two seasons stack up? I mean, just think about where this team was this time last year. Look, they got on a run that was a run that nobody saw coming, right? It was amazing. That's why we love this game, because you just never know sometimes how it's going to play out, and it's going to be very hard to duplicate that again. But
right.
I say that, nobody at this time, nobody knew if Cincinnati was even going to get in the playoffs. So, when you look at where they sit today, do you like their chances the way this team is constructed, especially if they can get some of these key bodies back in the lineup?
Tyler Boyd said it after the Pittsburgh game. This team feels confident, and I think the city echoes it. The city feels confident as long as Joe Burrow is behind center. And you saw in the Tennessee game last year when he was sacked so many times and still found a way to make the plays at the end. Joe Burrow gives this team a whole new hope. He gives them an opportunity to win every game because he can elevate everyone around him. The others around him don't have to be great all the time. I mean, Pittsburgh, it was Trenton Irwin and Samaje Perine who carried the load because Joe Burrow spread the ball out. So the feeling here is as long as Joe Burrow's behind quarterback, there's a chance. But really the only difference in the last 2 years are expectations. No one expected this team to do anything last year, so they were blowing away expectations. This year, they haven't really lived up to them yet because they had those bad losses early, and now you're going to go on a stretch run where you got to see Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, and then you've got to see the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson and company down the stretch. It's a lot harder ask in the second half of the season, but the expectations are really the only difference.
Joe Mixon left the Pittsburgh game. What's his status? How's he been looking so far? I know still it's very early in the week, and they're just probably getting back on the field today, but where do you think it is with Joe Mixon going into Sunday's game?
His diagnosis after the game was a concussion, so with how concussion protocol works in the NFL now, I think they'd evaluate it today and tomorrow. If he progresses the right way, you'd probably see him get back Thursday or Friday. If not, this team's really confident right now in what Samaje Perine has given them. Also a running back that played at the University of Oklahoma. But they like the way Perine runs. He is their designated pass blocker. When this team needs to pass, Joe Mixon comes out, Perine comes in. So he's better in protection. He runs the ball hard, and he showed the ability last week to catch the ball. So Joe Mixon's status remains up in the air. But I don't think the Bengals necessarily fear that with how well and how much production they've gotten from Perine.
Wanted to ask you about, since you're a local product there in Cincinnati, we talked about the pain for Titans fans last year after the loss to the Bengals. However, our pain was the euphoria there in Cincinnati, I'm sure. According to my calculations, the first road playoff game in the history of the franchise was last year there here in downtown Nashville with that win. Can you talk to me about what that meant to the city and to the organization? And, granted, it's painful here, but that had to be very special considering the circumstances.
Well, it was icing on the cake because it had been so long since this team even won a playoff game. So they got the Raiders in Cincinnati, and they won that game with a fourth down stand inside the 10-yard line. And I think at that time everyone was ecstatic with where this team was at. And then it's, okay, the opportunity to go to Tennessee, play a really good team in the Titans, and the fact that Joe Burrow was sacked as many times as he was and the team found a way to win, I've never seen the city of Cincinnati like that before. I mean, it was absolutely bananas here. And then they go on the road and they come back and they beat the Chiefs, and it was as much of a Cinderella run as possible, but when it all ended, you kind of felt like it wasn't a one-and-done scenario because, as I mentioned before, Joe Burrow's the quarterback. And as long as he's the quarterback, they got a lot of guys under rookie deals. There's a feeling in Cincinnati that it wasn't more so a one-and-done, but the Tennessee game was the springboard that gave this team the confidence that they can go and win games like that and try to compete for a Super Bowl.
When I think about the Bengals, my mind always goes back to the early days here in Nashville with Jeff Blake and company coming to town and always putting up big numbers, and Corey Dillon and those guys from that particular era who came here. And now here we are, fast forward, and we're talking about
first ever game here.
Absolutely.
New stadium.
A
Cincinnati.
classic.
Yeah, classic.
An absolute classic, 36-35. Darren and I were both there, and we'll remember that game probably always because of the significance there. And two great quarterbacks, and Jeff Blake and Steve McNair going back and forth in that fantastic game that happened there for the first game. Can you talk about just going back a little bit, these two teams or these two franchises being in the same division for as long as they were, and kind of having a bit of a taste? It kind of has an old school feel to it every time they get on the field together with the Titans and the Bengals.
It has that feel, and Zach Taylor kind of alluded to it after the game on Sunday. It almost has that AFC North feel that the Bengals have went with the last couple of years, because if you look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do, it's essentially what the Tennessee Titans are going to try to do, right? They're going to try to get after the quarterback. They're going to establish the run game. They're going to try to do the ground and pound. They want to make the game as physical as possible. That's the first thing Zach Taylor said when talking about the Titans. is it almost mimics another AFC North game for this team, because when these two teams get together, you don't foresee a blowout. You don't foresee, an offensive explosion. You see one of those knockdown, drag-out type performances, and I think that's what everyone is prepping for on this Sunday as well when these two teams get together again.
I have to ask you, while I've got you, about your QB days at Cincinnati as a Bearcat, and I hope you're immensely proud of what you were able to do there at Cincinnati and the kind of the kind of jump off point that your career was there at Cincinnati. And I just looked it up here. Since you arrived on campus in around 2007, the University of Cincinnati has had somewhere around 8 or 9 double-digit wins for a season. Since you and a lot of that started with you when you arrived there on campus back in the 2007, 2008, 2009. Can you talk about just the transformation of Cincinnati football from the college perspective? Cincinnati football in my mind. I know the Bengals and the Bearcats. I'm sure you guys deal with it too. But can you talk about the transition that program has made from kind of mid-major to major now over the last 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, it was awesome. I grew up right here in Cincinnati, so I grew up going to UC football games. And at the time, if you wanted basketball season tickets, you had to buy football tickets because nobody was going to the football games. And I think my first spring game, we had 200 or 300 people show up. They used to do high school football in Nippert Stadium, and they would outdraw Bearcat games by a long, long shot. So I grew up going to that, and to be a part of that, the teams, back-to-back BCS teams in a good Big East that kind of ushered in winning football here in Cincinnati, and all of a sudden the stadium is sold out, and that leads to an indoor facility, and then that leads to an expansion to the stadium. And the one thing that always held Cincinnati back was, the stepping stone that it was viewed from the coaching standpoint. Brian Kelly, Mark D'Antonio, Butch Jones, and then Luke Fickell got here. And Luke Fickell made it a point to recruit Cincinnati, which is a hotbed for high school sports. He made it a point to make this a destination job. He has turned down multiple jobs now to stay at Cincinnati. They have their the top recruiting class ever coming in 2023. They just had 9 guys selected in the NFL draft. Obviously, Travis Kelce it may go down as the best tight end to ever play. Jason Kelce, Sauce Gardner, what he's doing in the NFL as a rookie. It has become a destination spot in college football, and now on the precipice now of getting ready to go into the Big 12. They go into the Big 12 for football and basketball next year, and this coming Friday, they're playing for another American Athletic Conference championship when they host Tulane, who comes in and UC's won 32 games in a row at home. So it is it's not just the Cincinnati Bengals here in Cincinnati; it's what the Bearcats have been able to do that's really made this ride fun.
You just brought up the Tulane game on Friday. That's a morning start here in Nashville, 11 o'clock kickoff here on Central Time. That game is on ABC on Friday. Luke Fickell can, have that big game on Friday and then make his way down and support his buddy, Mike Vrabel, for Sunday's Bengals-Titans game.
It was such a unique season because they went to the college football playoff last year, and then they have all those guys drafted. And then you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen in this weird year before the Big 12? And next thing you know, they're competing again for a championship. And if they win Friday, they'll host the championship game at Nippert. And if they win that, they'll be back in a New Year's Six bowl. And Fickell, he talks a lot about his relationship with Vrabel and how much he's looked up to what Vrabel's been able to do. And you certainly see the similarities that they draw within each other with how they run their programs and that blue-collar, tough-nosed mentality. It almost comes across as their brothers the way they were brought up and how they run these programs.
No doubt about it. And we know you got to hit the airwaves here soon in Cincinnati. Tony, appreciate your time. Thanks for doing this. And
it's an honor, sir. Thank you so much.
We'll see how Sunday plays out. Should be fun.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys.
All right, that is Tony Pike, former Bearcats quarterback. He's going to be on the airwaves on ESPN 1530 here shortly there in Cincinnati. So a good little preview of the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show. By the way, Cure Hotline wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600 is how you can get in touch with us as you listen to WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TIP to 321-321. That's TIP to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Whoa, are you kidding me?
There's plenty of game left. Just chill out. If you're too riled up, you won't ever get to sleep tonight.
How can I chill out when I have to put up with this every single week?
Oh, and he gets picked off. Interception.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, that's enough. Here, try these cannabis products from Lab Canna. And these heightened Delta 8 gummies and Karma Calming Caramels will help put you in a better state of mind.
Whether you win or lose, make every game day better with cannabis products from Lab Canna. Learn more today at labcanna.com.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be sunny with a high of 58. Mainly clear tonight, low 30. Sunny Wednesday, high 62. Increasing clouds with showers becoming likely for Thanksgiving Day, high 62. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Renault. Sports Radio, WNSR.
(615-844-5600) is our number. McFarland Show here on this Tuesday afternoon. Appreciate Tony Pike for joining us. Good stuff. More action from Qatar, home of the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
France beat up on Australia 4-1 today. Saudis get a win. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina 2-1. How about that?
Okay.
Argentina going down. And
yeah, right now we've got France.
Oh, so that game's still going on.
Yeah, this is live action we're looking at here. France over, I believe that's...
it is. It's Australia.
Australia.
4-1. Yes, I already said I thought it was a final. So
okay, no.
It's as good as a final.
It's well, yeah. For soccer, yeah, it is, yeah.
There's 2 more games to take place today. Now, U.S. will be back on the pitch again on Friday.
Yes.
At 1 o'clock Central Time. Where can you watch that?
Fox 17, fantastic television station over in Metro Center. WZTV is where you can check out the action.
Okay, there you go. Your Code Red station.
I didn't want to go overboard there, but just let you know. Just let you know.
Well, I mean,
let you know. You can watch me every morning over there as well. I do television over there.
It's programming that
Listen,
people are going to want to check out on Friday.
It's programming that doesn't come around very often, is what it is. It is a special thing when the World Cup takes place. Even if you're not a complete soccer fan, the spectacle of the entire thing is really cool to see. And so I'm excited to see what the Americans can do here. It's been a long time for the American men for the World Cup. So, let's hope they can get something going here, get a run going.
Remember, the Egg Bowl is Thursday night, plus you get a triple header.
Yeah.
In the NFL on Thanksgiving, and then Thursday night at 6 o'clock on ESPN, it'll be Mississippi State and Ole Miss. So that should be a good one.
Yes, always.
No, but that one this year especially, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, entertaining.
That'll be in Oxford.
In Oxford this year, okay.
Yep.
I did not know that, okay.
Yep. Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Tony is in Nolensville. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys. I'll be eating some deviled eggs Thursday night, but in neither support of Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
So you feel like you'll still be eating at 6 o'clock on Thursday?
I'm going to try to eat all day long.
That's right, Tony.
Okay.
You tell him, Tony.
Okay.
That's right, sir.
And then get a plate to go for Friday, and then a couple of slices of ham and turkey for sandwiches on Thursday.
There you go. Tony knows how to do it, man.
And it sounds like there's going to be a whole lot of napping in between.
Tony's a veteran eater here. Tony's a veteran with this.
Hey,
he's got it, man.
Justin, you hadn't met me yet. Darren has. Trust me, I know how to hide some groceries, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
John Mary told my dad, he said, Mr. Benaz, I'll tell you one thing. That son of yours sure doesn't know how to hide some groceries. I was a big boy coming out of Overton High School.
The legendary John Merritt. That's awesome.
That's good stuff. But talking about a little bit about Vanderbilt, this stuff with them, what they've done in the last 2 weeks is great. But, guys, that's been building the last 4 or 5 weeks. They went on that bye week. And, you look back now and say, if they had just beat Missouri, we're in a bowl game. If they just beat South Carolina. But they were playing competitive football. They were not being run off the field.
Yeah.
And so the 2-game win streak is a culmination of a month or so of good football. So I think, the things are happening out there, and it's made me eat crow. I've mentioned that a couple of times. But they have really done well, and I'm behind them 110%. Hope they take the Big Orange down. So that brings me to a good question for y'all. Now, hang up and let y'all debate this. I think it's a pretty good debate. Does an in-state conference rivalry game overshadow a in-state non-conference game? We've got several rivalry games this weekend that are SEC, ACC, and then we got several in-state rivalry games that are SEC only. I think it's a good debate. How it affects recruiting, how it looks, how the conferences would be looked at. Of course, we all know the SEC is the prime conference, but I think it's a good debate and some good discussion. I'm going to hang up and let you guys talk about it. Looking forward to, hearing your answers. And if I don't talk to you tomorrow, guys, happy Thanksgiving to both of you. And you too, Devlin. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. And happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
So he's wanting to know, Ole Miss, Mississippi State is clearly rivalry game in conference and state.
Yeah.
Is he talking about Georgia Tech, Georgia?
I believe so.
Yeah, like Florida, Florida State,
USC, Notre Dame. They play every year.
But that's not in state.
But
I think
he's saying in state versus out of conference. The out of conference rivals like Georgia Tech and Georgia, like you were just mentioning.
I thought he was talking about South Carolina versus Clemson.
Oh, I see. Well,
Georgia,
maybe he was.
Georgia Tech.
Maybe he was. Okay.
Florida, Florida State, where still in-state, not in the same conference.
I got you.
As opposed to in-state, in conference.
Okay, I understand now.
I don't know. Maybe I
was
listening. I heard him wrong.
I think that's what he was getting at. Having been part of my life, having spent part of my life down in Alabama, for Alabama and Auburn. I don't know how anything tops that, almost anywhere. And I know that there's some people up north who might disagree, between Michigan and Ohio State, which I know are out of state, rivalries there. But that the in-state in-conference rivalry is so intense because you get both of those things together. It's not just you can say it like this: if you're out of conference, but in the same state, you're cousins. But if you're in the same state, in the same conference, you're brothers. And the
like
rivalries,
Washington State. There's another one.
The rivalries between brothers and the rivalries between cousins, both mean something, but the rivalry between brothers has an extra dimension to it.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to top. Anytime you've got something on the line, in-state is one layer, but in conference, that to me is kind of the whipped cream, the cherry, and the nuts, right?
And then in division, depending on where you are.
Yes, right. Yeah. That's correct. Where other ones, the problem with some of the other ones, now, have there been great Florida State games? Boy, when they both were really, really, really good?
My goodness.
But South Carolina and Clemson don't seem to get on the same page, right? Where one may be good, the other one's not.
The other one's down.
The other one up, and the other one's down. And it just seems like they're not on the same page.
They're not.
I feel like Kentucky-Louisville over the years has been a lot of the same.
Georgia, lackluster at times,
Georgia Tech.
Nope.
Georgia Tech's just never at Georgia's level.
Nope.
Really? Ever?
Nope. Not for very long, anyway.
No. And so I'm trying to think of the best out of conference ones. I mean, right now it'd probably be Florida State, right?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
I'm trying to roll through here, and I don't see it. I don't see from where. I guess they don't play anymore. I was going to say Texas versus Texas A&M, but we haven't seen that game.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. By the way, Iowa State, for whatever reason, they always play that game early.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Yeah,
like all these other rivalry games are now. Iowa State always play theirs really early.
I think it's because their main rivals are out of state. Maybe they're not, I don't know who Iowa's. I think, isn't Iowa's number one rival like Wisconsin or something like that? Like, it's not Iowa State as like their main, person, their main rival that they measure themselves against. I think for them, it's out of state. So, it just, a lot of this depends on your origin story too, as, where you were as a conference, how long have you been in the same conference? Some of it's proximity, for campus. If you're cross-state versus somebody else who's, like really far away on the other side of the state, it can make a lot to do with that as well. So there's just a lot of depend. But it's a great weekend, I'll tell you that. It's a great weekend period for college football when we get to do the rivalry games and get into all the feelings, because this is when the feelings come out.
I think the best one to answer Tony's question is always going to be just in conference. It's just going to have the extra oomph to it.
Yeah.
It just will. Now, I think we've only really been able to come up with one good one, and it's not going to be good this year, but in the past it's been good. So I just think the extra oomph of being in the same conference is always going to lend to a little bit more hatred, a little bit more interest, no matter if you're up or down, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, it does not matter.
Oh, no.
Right? Alabama, Auburn, Washington State, like all these, it doesn't matter.
Oregon State even. Yeah.
Oregon State, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like who's up, who's down. If they're both down, it doesn't matter. There's just because, like I said, it's just built in there, it's ingrained, and you don't really have to depend on the record. I'll tell you what, we'll slip away quickly, come back, wrap up the first hour, and sneak Bill in from Hendersonville.
Hold on,
Bill.
the
other side. You're listening to the McFarland Show, WNSR.
Football fans make this Thanksgiving to remember a FanDuel One, America's #1 sport book. Yeah, Thanksgiving is on the way because when you bet an NFL same-game parlay now through November 28th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. The bigger you bet, the more you get your bet back in free bets. NFL same-game parlays, perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Build your own or choose from the popular SGPs. That's the same-game parlay, SGPs, pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sports Sportsbook app. However you want to play it, get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when you play an NFL same-game parlay of 4 legs or more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sporting betting partner of the NFL, and use that promo code GregP, 21 and older, President Tennessee required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets, expires 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
You don't sit behind a desk every day to earn a living. You're out and about making it happen. And sometimes you get a little bit behind on your paperwork, like bookkeeping and paying your taxes. It's easy to get behind on paying your taxes. It happens to the best of us. And you know what happens next. The big bad IRS comes knocking on your door. And when that happens, you need to call the good old boys at the Tax Doctor. Let them do what they do best. Deal and negotiate with the IRS so you pay the lowest you can in back taxes that the law allows. We are a 100% U.S.-based company, and we've saved our clients millions over the years in back taxes. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call my friends right now at the Tax Doctor and learn more.
800-340-1040. 800-340-1040. 800-340-1040. Again, that's 800-340-1040. Paid for by the Tax Doctor.
Lieutenant, can you tell us what happened today?
Our officers responded to a crash on I-40 westbound this morning. The driver of a pickup truck lost control of the vehicle, veered left, and went into a ditch.
911, what's your emergency?
We've been in a crash. Please send someone. My fiancé is hurt.
A front seat passenger was wearing a seatbelt. She survived without injury. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the truck. He died at the scene.
Law enforcement writes tickets to save lives. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on the Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. did some racing over the weekend. His race team has some crew chief shakeups. We've got Joey Logano, we've got NASCAR Steve Phelps, and more. So grab all the latest NASCAR news, driver interviews, stats, and info every single weekday right here.
Hi, I'm Joey Logano, and you're listening to The Final Lap with Kerry Murphy.
And, of course, check us out at facebook.com/The Final Lap. Every single weekday right here.
They're 5 minutes into this basketball game in Maui. Texas Tech is leading Louisville by 30. Louisville stinks.
A mercy rule.
They are bad. They're 5 minutes into a basketball game, and they're down 30.
And they're 0-4.
Yeah, they've lost to, Delaware, App State.
I mean, what in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go to Bill up in Hendersonville, who's on our Cure Hotline.
Air ball just now. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Fellas, last night a friend of mine sent me a text saying that CBS was reporting that Lane Kiffin was going to go to Auburn, and then they quickly retracted it from their, I guess it was their Twitter or Facebook feed.
Yeah, how about that?
Is there anything to this, or is it strictly rumor, or is there fact or in substance to this rumor? With
have
that,
you
I'll
ever,
hang up and listen.
Bill, have you ever heard of where there's smoke?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there may be
Yes,
some
sir.
smoke, right? I mean, I think he's got. Look, if Auburn's really serious about getting back on track, they have to keep asking him until he says no. They have to start there, don't you think?
Yeah,
you got to start with Lane
and put a dollar figure with it.
Yes, yeah, you got to back up. You got to back up the ask with a Brinks truck. Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. I don't know if it's going to play out that way, but look. Anytime these things start getting out there, somebody knows something.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that he can't change his mind. He can't wake up and they win the Egg Bowl and he wakes up on this weekend and says, you know what, I'm staying. But
it's probably been a conversation.
If you're asking me,
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards, it'll probably happen.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what my friend and I were kind of talking back and forth, and if it does happen, he'll stay there 3 or 4 years, and he'll go somewhere else.
Yep.
That's been kind of the pattern.
Yeah, what's interesting, Bill, is I ran into an Auburn fan last week, and we were talking about this, and I said, what do you think about getting Lane Kiffin? And you know what the first thing he said? What's the point? he'll just stay 3 or 4 years and then he'll leave and go take another job. Like, literally, those were the first words out of his mouth as a huge Auburn fan.
I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to Auburn.
No?
I think it's a horrible fit for him, and I think he'll realize that and wait for the next bus. I don't think he's going.
That'd be a good Bill King question.
Yeah.
And we've asked Bill, and
we have.
And he says it depends.
He says he does say Hugh Freeze will crawl. Was it on his belly and
through
glass?
broken glass.
Broken
glass.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, fellas. I hear the music.
All right, Bill.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bill.
I think it starts with Lane Kiffin. It just has to. If they're serious about getting back.
Sure. You can ask him, but Lane Kiffin
doesn't mean right.
He's to Auburn. That's Mike Gundy is to Tennessee.
Yeah. That'll do it for hour number 1. We'll come back. We'll talk with Drake Hills. We'll do that to kick off the second hour. That's next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. A rail strike is looming for freight union workers. That after the nation's largest rail union rejected a White House brokered deal. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about ongoing talks with unions.
We are calling on all parties to come together and resolve this.
If the December deadline passes and workers walk, the strike could cost the economy $2 billion a day if transported goods don't reach their destinations. In Delphi, Indiana, a judge is considering evidence on whether to unseal documents in the murder of 2 teens nearly 6 years ago. The suspect, Richard Allen, was in court for the hearing but did not speak. Prosecutors arrested him last month but have not publicly given details. Prosecutors in Plymouth County, Massachusetts, charged the suspected driver in yesterday's SUV crash into an Apple store. 1 person died. Bradley Ryan faces charges of reckless homicide by a motor vehicle. This is ABC News.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Give the gift of play with the team at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. Stop in and stock up on a huge selection of new and gently used gear and equipment. Maybe you need some cash for the holidays. If you have too many bikes, inline skates, hockey, or other sports gear that you don't use anymore or it doesn't fit, get cash on the spot for your unused gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. They have the trained staff to help you sell your gear and help you find the perfect gift for the holidays, like a new baseball bat, lacrosse stick, yoga and workout gear, or equipment for a home gym. Or maybe you're like me and you love perusing golf clubs. Go check out what they have in their used inventory. I'm always in the Hendersonville store checking out their used golf clubs. So get cash for your holiday gifts when you sell your gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. And make sure to tell them Zach from Nashville Sports Radio sent you. That's Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville.
Listen. You can't handle the truth. It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour here on this Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. It is time to talk a little soccer, a little football. By the way, that commercial with Peyton is really, really good. Right?
Absolutely.
Like I mean, usually if it involves Peyton Manning, it's going to be a funny, but it's got a soccer theme to it, and it is quite entertaining. Let's speak with Drake Hills, who's a soccer writer for the Tennessean, covering Nashville SC. Of course, the World Cup is underway. Is that game gone final? Did France get the win? They were in control 4-1. I think it's probably over.
It's gone final
by now. Drake, how you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Day 2 of this World Cup. Well, I guess technically day 3.
Yep.
If you want to count Ecuador, Qatar, but day 2 of real World Cup. Lots of added time, lots of free soccer, man. Fans are getting their minutes worth. But I got to say, if I'm a coach and I'm on a winning team and I got a slight margin and there's 7 added minutes, I'm gonna start growing some gray hair and just lose my hair entirely, man.
Well, I don't want that to happen for you, because it doesn't matter if I say that, because it's, that ship has sailed. So what's another gray hair? But I got to be honest, Drake. I just want to get your expertise on this. I am just the novice, right? I'm just kind of the outside observer. I support Nashville SC, enjoy going to the games, but you're the guy that's right there in the trenches. I didn't love that call on Walker Zimmerman yesterday against Wales. Is it the right call? Again, I'm not the expert. Did you like that call? Is that just a call that has to happen?
Yeah, there's no way around that. That was
man.
that was a foul. Like, not even like even if I was Walker, I would know that that's a foul. And it's tough because you can understand. I mean, you're going up against Gareth Bale. For those who don't know, right? He plays in Major League Soccer. He plays for LAFC. Just joined over the summer, but this is a guy who was, obviously a decade and a half of experience with Tottenham Hotspur in England and in London, and then he also, won a bunch of European, Champions League trophies with Real Madrid. One of the most electric, athletic wingers and forwards of his current generation, and so he knows and he anticipates that Walker was going to come and make contact with him from behind. He baited him in that situation and maybe sailed it a little bit, but that's contact-wise, it's definitely a foul, and it's unfortunate because aside from that, in one error that Walker had previously in that second half, Walker and his center back pairing and Tim Ream, they had a pretty consistent game, and I would say a pretty strong overall performance. So just very unfortunate. And the theme that pretty much every player said after the game in the mix zone was severely disappointing. Because if you look at that first half, if you're just now starting to watch soccer, that is a great first half to watch. An incredible first impression by the U.S.
I saw Taylor Twellman last night on SportsCenter kind of giving it to U.S., basically saying what you said. Great first half, poor second half, didn't make the proper adjustments. He called Wales a one-trick pony. Do you agree with Taylor Twellman's assessment?
I think I do. I absolutely do, actually. But Wales, what impressed me, or maybe caught me by surprise, was how significantly less or inferior Wales were in terms of athleticism. From anywhere from the fullbacks, Serginho Dest and Anthony Robinson, both play in Europe. Serginho Dest plays at AC Milan in Italy. Anthony Robinson plays for American favorite Fulham in London. And those guys all the way up to the midfield and even the forwards, they were significantly more athletic in space, were able to run pretty much past any Welsh player. And so it was quite interesting, aside from Gareth Bale, Wales were significantly inferior. And all they are able to do is sit back, pretty much play just in front of goal, give you all the space in the world, we're going to make sure all of us is behind the ball because we can't get beat. We can't race with you guys. And so they would just play, fully defensive, wait for you to try and thread one ball into the middle of their defense. They'll pick it out and they'll counterattack and run everybody forward. That was their game plan from the beginning. And they didn't even change it even when they went 1-0 down late in the first half. So, I mean, I think he was right. And unfortunately, the U.S. made one crucial mistake, and they lost. They dropped 2 points, and they go from pretty much guaranteeing themselves to make it outside of the group stage to now they're going to have to get a result against England or Iran to even have a shot.
So just kind of reading through all this, it doesn't feel like there's a great amount of confidence for Friday's tilt against England that probably their World Cup lives lie, early next week against Iran? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, England, I mean, again, if we're going to the novice folks, as you say, I'm sure everybody's going to know who England is and how strong they are. And even with that expectation, I think England took it up a notch against Iran on the first day of the tournament. You talk about your best players being in good form, playing their best soccer. I think that's exactly what we saw. And yeah, it was Iran, and I don't think Iran is significantly less talented than the U.S., obviously. But to put 6 goals up in the first game, I mean, that's a statement. So it's not looking too good for the U.S. I guess positively speaking, Gio Reyna, he's supposed to be the star boy, right? He's, just made it. He just turned 20, so this guy was pretty much a teenager, and he didn't play at all against Wales. And we're expecting Gio Reyna to play against England. He had some muscle tightness in his thigh, and so that's the reason why. But yeah, it's not looking too good as far as an opportunity to get a win, which puts a lot of pressure, to your point, on getting a win against Iran next week.
How important is it for the United States to find a face for the franchise or for the team, or, somebody who is as recognizable as, I don't know, a mid-level, somebody who's as recognizable as, say, John Morant, who is a superstar but hasn't been a superstar for that long. Somebody who is recognizable on sight in the sports world that could really try to help this thing grow beyond just soccer fans, but really all people who are trying to watch and see what's going on with the American team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that second part of that question is really what we're all looking for, right?
Yeah.
Because aside from that, it obviously is Christian Pulisic. Some would argue that that's been an intentionality behind the U.S. Soccer Federation being behind that, being the poster boy, trying to market him that way. Because if you were actually thinking about the team itself and the leaders, you could say it's Tyler Adams, who actually wore the captain's armband against Wales. Others would say it's Weston McKennie, who's also in that midfield.
It's too many people. See, it's too many people already, man. We're already,
I'm just saying. There's a couple of options, and there's a lot of folks that deserve a little more attention. But when we're talking about transcending the sport of soccer, and like you said, being recognized when they're walking on the street, or being recognized when they're on SportsCenter, is like, oh, that guy plays soccer. That guy plays for the U.S. men's national team. That's Christian Pulisic. But to your point, I think it's going to take probably until the 2026 World Cup where there's the opportunity for someone to really burst onto the global scene outside of the sports bubble. But listen, I mean, if we're asking who's the front of this team, just watch the game, right? I mean, that Christian Pulisic was clearly the face of the team in the game as well. So, I mean, if we're going to talk about who's the face of this team, well, let's watch the game and you'll see. Because I think that's pretty apparent. Even though the U.S. is not as strong as they will be in 2026, it's quite clear who the first 3 or 4 that have the candidacy to be that face that transcends the sport of soccer.
I wish we could watch it in Nashville in 2026. Like, I may be a novice today, but by then, if we would have been hosting games, I would have been in those games in Umbros. I'm just telling you. I'd have ripped out the Umbros from the 1980s. I think I still have them somewhere, and I would have worn them. I don't think they wear Umbros anymore. But just to my point, I would be a lot more.
Darren, it's all about the Copa Mundials, man.
See,
it's all about the Copas.
I told you, I knew Drake would know. I'm way out of touch on that, but
Hey, those are classics, man. Those are classics.
Don't disrespect it.
Thanks for playing along, Drake.
Don't disrespect it. It's the classic. I do want to ask you very quickly about this being the first time the World Cup has come around, and Nashville is now MLS city. Last time this came around, that was not the case. Can you just speak to how much the fan base for Nashville SC is watching this and dialed into this and really hoping that some of their players will have a good showing here going into next year, of course. But I mean, this is the one that little kids dream about. If you're a soccer player, this is what you dream about, is on this stage. Nothing against the MLS, but it's this stage.
No, I mean, that's a great question because
I think we should end with something on Nashville SC.
The fact that there's two Nashville SC players on this U.S. men's national team for this World Cup, and you can make the argument that it's likely that Walker Zimmerman, yes, he did make that foul. He was the man that kind of allowed the win to slip. But right now he's 29. He'll be 30 next year. He has a chance to still be on that roster in 4 years when the tournament comes to the U.S. And he's a leader on this team, so you can only imagine what he'll be in 2026. You also have Shaq Moore, who has been electric. Obviously, he joined Nashville SC in the summer. So I just think the fact that you have two players on the roster currently for a team that just expanded into Major League Soccer only a few years ago, I mean, you're going to be in your, I believe it's seventh season in Major League Soccer by the time the next tournament comes around. I think it's important to show that the local club has a tie to the biggest, largest platform at the World Cup. I mean, I think that's critical for young kids to see that. Yeah, I mean, there's some players, whether for the U.S., Mexico, Canada, whoever, that plays for Nashville SC that are going to be playing at that World Cup level in 2026. I think that's pivotal.
And with this, Drake, kind of get us up to speed and our listeners up to speed, kind of what has transpired in the last week or so. They had to finalize their roster for 2023. I saw a lot of people on Twitter just like belly aching about how long it was taking to make that announcement. I don't understand all that. You do. People were kind of going crazy, like, come on, give us the roster. So if you could kind of take us through, were there any surprises? Is it exactly what you thought? I'll just turn it over to you.
Yeah, man, I don't think there were really any surprises. I mean, if anything, it was the fact that, not that I was expecting Dax McCarty to retire, but the fact that he'll be 36. He's been in the league since 2006, and he will be the captain again for Nashville SC next year in midfield. But it was the way that Nashville SC and Dax have recommitted to each other on a new deal, which was not the case going into the offseason. He was going to be on a club option, and so they essentially just put in new terms, new money, and decided to go again for 2023. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's going to be the same team. If Jacob Schaffelberg, who is in the Canadian national team pool, and we talked about Shaq Moore earlier. Before those two guys came on this team, this was the oldest team in MLS. It's a veteran team, and so I think overall, although there's no surprises for this upcoming season, I think the question is, how long is this team going to remain as it was when it came into the league? They've had pretty much the same team since 2020, but when is that chapter going to end, and when are we going to see a new chapter, new faces, in a new place?
Drake, we're thankful for your soccer knowledge, and we appreciate the visit. Happy Thanksgiving, and good to talk to you, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yeah, I appreciate the time, guys. You guys take care and enjoy the World Cup.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You do the same. He is excellent at what he does. He covers Nashville SC for the Tennessean. He is Drake Hills, and we do appreciate him joining us at Live Life Drake on Twitter. That's how you can give him a follow. It's free and easy to do.
Okay.
He's a good follow.
For now it is, yes.
Yeah. We'll come back. By the way, Cure Hotline wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next.
Douglas is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
My name is Douglas. I'm 79 and I live in Chicago. I'm a writer, director. I used to be a marathon runner. Now I'm a walker. In the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. Memory became a factor. As everyone gets older, where did I put my keys? But I had to get help to stay competitive. I happened across Prevagen, and I started taking it. I saw myself having an improved memory, which at the same time, I felt better about myself. I could not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for Prevagen.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you need a staycation or planning a trip to Music City, stay at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Voted the best boutique hotel in the city by the Nashville Scene, Bento Living is located on the edge of bustling downtown and boasts on-site dining, shopping, live entertainment on the rooftop, and free fitness classes. Come experience Nashville like a local. Visit BentoChestnutHill.com to book your Music City vacation today.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know what the Mets stand for?
Metropolitan.
Yeah, that one.
Metropolitan is a flavor of ice cream, right?
Neapolitan.
Oh, okay.
Was that real?
I mean, half and half.
Oh, man. You talk about throwing me off complete. My equator is gone.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
The LA Rams have cut running back Darrell Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, the Broncos cut running back Melvin Gordon. Some unhappy running backs in the National Football
Well, Melvin
League.
Gordon was putting the ball on the ground,
Yeah.
and, you know, that's a killer in the NFL.
A little too many fumbles. A little
Yeah.
fumbleitis.
You cannot. The fumbleitis is a fatal condition.
Yeah, they don't have
the
a
National
shot
Football League.
or a pill for it, I don't think.
And, well, they're supposed to have coaching for it. But sometimes
well, he's been around long enough. He should know better.
Change the grip of the ball. You know, they've got a lot of techniques. You know, the way you hold it. I've seen a lot of things. I'm sure you have too over the years about the way you hold the ball, either hand placement or even placement on the body or placement, you know, on the arm itself, about where the ball can be to make sure it doesn't get out. Some guys get it, some guys don't. But I've seen a number of different techniques out there.
Well, if you have a problem and you don't get it, you'll be what you'll get is a pink slip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's apparently what Darrell Henderson got from the Rams. He was unhappy and disgruntled.
Yeah, but he
already.
wasn't a fumble issue, but, you know,
No, I think
not like Melvin Gordon
he won it
was.
out.
Yeah.
I think.
I have to ask you guys, with the Cam Akers drama earlier in the season, are you surprised to see him cut over Cam Akers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, you're right. Cam Akers is the one I think it was even more unhappy.
He was very unhappy.
Very unhappy. Yeah. Tells you what they think of Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
They're going to keep the disgruntled guy.
Yeah. Well, who knows what's going on behind the scenes, though.
They may be both disgruntled.
Yeah. They may have just pushed the other one to the back. He may not even be seeing a lot of day, you know, and so, you know how that can go.
Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Let's go down to Columbia. Nate is standing by. What's up?
What's up, guys?
Hey, Nate.
So I was talking with my wife a couple weeks ago, and she had asked me a question about the Vandy GM, Barton Simmons. And I didn't know at the time that they actually had a GM with sports. I just kind of thought GM and player personnel, player operations, that was kind of more of a pro sports title. How does a GM really operate within an athletic department when they also have a athletic director?
Well, for years they didn't even have an athletic director, but that's a different story because that was several years ago. But Darren knows that as well, Nate. For years, the Vanderbilt University did not have an athletic director. They ran it out of another department that I forget the name of the department on campus that ran the athletic. The athletics, but it wasn't.
Don't forget, for a while
director.
they cleaned house with their media relations people too.
That happened as well.
I knew about that.
If you're asking us I've known Barton for many years. Used to always talk recruiting with him. He was fantastic over 24/7 Sports. If you're asking us the inner workings of day-to-day life as the Vandy GM, Nate, this is going to be a really lousy response from us. It's not going to be. We're not going to be able to offer much. Honestly, I don't have a clue what Barton's doing day in and day out.
I mean, that's fine. I was just curious because, like I said, I had never heard of a collegiate athletic department having a GM.
Maybe he does a weekly radio show. You know.
I'm sure somebody knows, but it's. Yeah.
I've talked to GMs on weekly shows before.
Yes, you have. You talked to a lot of GMs.
Are you saying, Nate, we should reach out to Barton and see if he wants to do a weekly here on the show?
Tell you what, next time we get.
I was just asking about, I don't know. I was just, I was just curious because, Vandy is sometimes pretty strange. But since you put it that way, y'all two should try and apply for the GM positions at different universities.
I mean,
I
don't know. I don't think I offer. I
don't think that's going to work.
I don't think I'd be very. I don't think I'd rather stay with the job already that I know I can do versus the job, unless they're paying me $3 million a year. Then you go try it.
Now, depending on how many zeros are attached to that first number, then maybe we will talk.
I mean,
but no,
I don't know a lot about hockey, but if you offer me $3 million to be the head coach of the Boston Bruins, I'm there. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to show up to work.
Especially if it's guaranteed.
I'm here. Hey, listen, I'm here.
Let me tell you, I want the millions to go away too, because when I get fired, I just want to make sure nobody is, let's throw a party. Don't be mad. Don't be sad. I got paid a lot to go away.
Yeah, this is a retirement package. I didn't get fired. I just, this is just instant retirement. That's all this is. Have fun.
But I do have a comment on the World Cup.
Sure.
Because I know, Justin, you said, or you asked, how many people are truly going to be into the World Cup. I think that was Friday that you asked that. I can't exactly remember when.
Yep.
And from my perspective, if my stupid internet was working, I would have watched the USA the other day. But because my internet's not working, I'm having to work elsewhere, and I couldn't use my laptop or anything. But, I've been keeping up with it. I just haven't been able to watch because I haven't had the means to.
Okay, Nate, you've walked into it. Okay, Justin, the floor's yours.
No. Listen. This is going to be real easy.
It's going to be a Fox 17 infomercial.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's this is going to be television. Nate, do you have a television?
I do.
You have a regular No. Listen. You have a regular television, right, Nate?
I do have.
Do you have an antenna? Television. Do you have an antenna hooked up to your TV? Not just for streaming purposes.
I do, but it does not stretch. So I get two very strange channels that I don't watch.
Have you tried moving the antenna around the room and rescanning?
I did, yes. That was at my old house. We just moved on Saturday, so I haven't tried yet on the new house. But I'm planning on trying. I don't plan I don't really plan to get any good channels.
Well, look,
but I do stream. But like you said, I do stream.
Okay. Well, they try to make the. Well, let me just say this, Nate. If you cannot pick up, the television station I work for, WZTV, which is carrying the World Cup, Fox 17, which is carrying the World Cup, And you are calling from Colombia, Nate. We broadcast in Colombia. Our over-the-air signal is supposed to be able to reach Colombia, Nate. So if you cannot get us, that means you may need to buy a better antenna. Just kind of update the antenna there, Nate. How do you watch Titans games? And you're a huge Predator. How do you watch the Predators?
I use my parents' login on Valley Sports.
Okay, well there we are. There we are. Wow. There we are.
I don't watch Titans games all that much because I can't get it because it's on CBS.
Yeah,
and I don't have the CBS.
Which is why you need Nate. You just need a better antenna, my friend. That's Nate. It's $20, man. You go get yourself a much better antenna than the one you have. Is what it sounds like you need.
This one is kind of old, but it was working fine when I was in Nashville.
Yes,
so I figured
but you're in Murray County, sir.
I guess not.
You're in Murray County. You need a much better antenna in Murray
Christmas
County.
is just around the corner, Nate. Get that list together.
Get a $500 antenna.
No, it doesn't have to be $500, Nate.
I'll be able to stream everything. I'll be able to get HBO on this antenna.
All right, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, sir.
Day, guys.
Thank you, Nate.
I don't know what else to say.
Now, I will say, listen, for those of you who have not been down to Murray County, and I have been down to Murray County many times in the many communities in Murray County, there are some rural parts of the county, no question about it. However, if you've got an antenna, the proper antenna, you're supposed to be able to pick up not just my station, which I want you to watch, but of course 2, 4, 5, and the substations that go along with them. There's about 30 stations or so that are available over the air for free that you don't need a streaming service for. You just hook up an antenna, hit the scanning feature there on your television, and voila.
I thought he was going to talk about the Preds winning last night because it sounds like that is the one thing he can watch.
Well, now we know. Now we know
the Preds by taking the passcode from his parents, but he didn't even talk about their win.
Yeah, but now we know why. Now we know why he's such an avid Preds fan because he's
got the Bally's passcode.
It sounds like
from
that's
his
about
parents.
all he can watch.
Yeah, he's got the login number from his parents.
Listen, I ain't mad at that.
I heard Netflix is going to crack down on that.
Well, they've been talking about that for a while, but I ain't mad at that, Nate. Get the login. That's fine. I'm just saying you've got other options, my friend. You don't have to stay in your current condition, sir.
Preds won a 7-round shootout last night.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff there.
4-3 over the Coyotes.
Yeah, everybody gets points. But
hey, this homestand's been good to them.
Oh, it's been very good.
9 out of 10 points.
Let's go.
Take that all day long.
Let's go.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this. We'll step away and come back. You
want to step away early? Okay.
Yeah, because I want us to get.
You want to get the fullness.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to play a little sound from last night. I want you to set it up real quick, and then we'll step away for a minute and come back.
Last night was the first opportunity that the public had to speak about what they thought about the brand new $2.1 billion stadium plan that the Titans and the mayor of Nashville have worked out. So what you're going to hear coming up in a few minutes is members of the public, some for the plan, some very much against it, talking about why they feel that way. And I want Darren to hear this in particular so I can get his fresh reaction to this. So you can get all that when we come back here.
Hey, football fans, make this a Thanksgiving to remember with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because when you bet an NFL same-game parlay from now through November 28th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets. Win or lose, just bet an NFL same-game parlay or a same-game parlay plus of at least $20. The bigger you bet, the more you'll get back in free bets. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you and FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However, if you want to play, get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when you bet an NFL same-game parlay of 4 legs or more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Remember, must be 21 years of age or older, present in Tennessee. Bonus issued on non-refundable free bets. That expires in 7 days after receipt. Max free bet of $100. Restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Are you in trouble with the IRS? Detaxify is the trusted tax relief solution that has an A+ rating with the BBB, 5-star rating from Google, and specializes in the IRS Fresh Start program.
If you have years of unfiled back tax returns or owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, the government has the power to garnish your wages, freeze your bank account, and in some cases, they can now revoke your passport. This is John Zandy, president of Detaxify. Detaxify specializes in the Fresh Start program where we help struggling taxpayers get out of collections or settle their tax debt. If you're being audited or dealing with threatening letters from the government, you may need professional tax relief representation. My team at Detaxify can stop the tax collectors and stop the threatening letters from the IRS or state. Call me now for a free consultation.
Call now, 800-601-7780. That's 800-601-7780. Detaxify offers a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Call now, 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780.
Slim's Tender Mac Bowls are back. We start with a 3-cheese blend to make our delicious mac and top it with chopped hand-breaded tenders and Colby Jack cheese. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal, both served with Texas toast and a medium drink. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lake Norman Buckeye. Bill will Saban actually coach that 24 quarterback. At some point, he's got to hang it up. Nothing lasts forever. I want to repeat, Nick Saban is doing his favorite thing right now. He's not trying to get to a moment in life to where he can go sit on the beach.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
This conversation actually happened during the break, Nate, if you're still listening. And then I hope you are. You're in your 20s. Devlin is in his 20s. He told us he's got a $15 antenna that works to perfection.
Now, to be fair, Devlin also, you live in Nashville, don't you, Devlin?
Yeah, I live in Davidson County.
You live in Davidson County.
So a little bit different.
That helps
Nate's
a little
in
bit.
Columbia. But
down in Murray County.
15
Beautiful
bucks.
Murray County.
At Radio Shack, do they even exist anymore?
I got it at Amazon. Came
at
in
Amazon.
the next day. Yep.
Okay, next day. Doesn't get any easier than that. 15 bucks. And if you're feeling frisky, and we know Nate at times has been feeling frisky, plop about 25 bucks down for an antenna, and it'll work it'll just be, it'll be unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be getting channels from Qatar. That antenna will be amazing.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, listen, we try our – and when I say we, I mean the television industry. The analog days are over, so you can't just go with the old-fashioned rabbit ears. It does take a little, you got to hook it up and run the scan and do the stuff. But it's still available. We do not have to have cable to get local television. You can get it with a good old-fashioned antenna.
For
Still
years, I
works.
used a paperclip. Just stuck a paperclip in my antenna, and it worked.
A
pretty well.
paperclip?
Yeah.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
I've never heard that before. Okay.
All kinds of things
There's
are
a
possible.
first.
But we're out there, Nate. You can find us, man.
Vanderbilt has just put out that the Tennessee Vandy game, 6:30 kickoff Saturday night at First Bank Stadium here in Nashville, is officially sold out.
Wow. All right.
So if you're looking for tickets, you'll have to look on the secondary market.
All right.
No tickets to be found. If you're going to watch it, you can watch it on SEC Network.
Very cool.
There you go.
Very cool.
All right, so set it up again. This happened last night for the public.
Last night at the East Magnet High School over there in East Nashville, there was a meeting where people got to come out and voice their opinion one way or the other about the brand new stadium deal. Now, I know we've been talking about it on and off here on the broadcast, but the Tennessee Titans and the mayor of Nashville have come to an agreement for a $2.1 billion dome stadium that would be built right there, right next to the current Nissan Stadium in the parking lot, and they would tear the current Nissan Stadium down and go with the dome. Now, it's up to the city council to decide whether or not they're going to move forward with this or not. The city council wants to hear from members of the public about what they think about the deal now that the public has had a chance to examine it, hear from some experts, and just trying to get a feel. So they're holding 5 different meetings where you can hear from the public to try and get the feel on this. Last night was the first one. Let's hear one of the clips here from one of the people who showed up to speak either in support or against the stadium.
The number of events that are needed to make the revenue work out has not been addressed. Not one time have I heard anyone say we're going to have this many events in order to make the revenue work out for Metro and for all of the revenue sources that are needed to make the project work. And I think that's a travesty. If it's going to be the same number of events we have now, fine. I think we've learned to tolerate that. That is, those of us who live within a certain proximity to the stadium and deal with the traffic and deal with the midtown to downtown to East Nashville traffic on game days. But I suspect that there are not enough weekends in the year to support the number of events needed to make the revenue work. And so if we're looking at weeknight events, I would challenge all of you on one of those rare Monday or Thursday nights when we have a Titans game to drive or take the bus from Midtown to downtown to East Nashville. It is absolute, unequivocal gridlock. I don't care if you're on a bus, I don't care if you're on a car or a bicycle. It's that bad.
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, no. I am dying to hear from you.
Okay. One, if you don't understand that all the large events that would come here, that it'll all take care of itself, then you just don't know. Butch Spiriton threw out $36 billion.
Yes.
Until I forgot the time frame.
2051.
51. Okay. Now, that just goes without saying. Like, are we really going to dispute that? No, we're not. And you shouldn't either, sir. Now, what we shouldn't also dispute is what he's saying, because I believe that to be true. But isn't that all of Middle Tennessee? I mean, it's basically that everywhere you go. Like, it's not easy anywhere you go.
Traffic.
Yes, the bottom line is we know, Justin, our infrastructure is poor. It's poor. It's failing.
It was never supposed to be.
Failing.
It was.
It was never supposed to at this rapid rate, right? Like, you could have growth, but this has been a rocket ship for 7 years.
Yes.
Okay? And we were not prepared for the rocket ship. And so our infrastructure is awful. It's awful everywhere. I don't doubt what this man is saying. That route that he laid out to them, to the committee, I'm sure that is 100% spot on. But I can also give you about 70 other routes that they could try out, and it'll have the same feeling in and around town. So what does that have to do with anything? It's the same thing everywhere. Is that going to change whether you have a new stadium or not? No.
He's saying that it will happen more often because there's a new stadium.
No, it won't. It happens already.
Well, they are planning to have more events.
So let me get this straight. Look, if that is your argument, then we should have stopped building a long time ago. You know, I used to do all that stuff.
There are some people
get
who
rid of
like
the cranes.
that.
Get rid of. Don't come here. No, go back home. Stay away. I gave up because the genie is way out of that bottle. That horse is 14 farms over. It's not coming back. Okay, dude, we're way past that.
14 farms over.
Yes, it's not coming back. The horse is gone. Okay, changing the traffic grids because of big events. Those days are gone. You think not building the new stadium is going to change traffic patterns? No. So what about all the other big things that still happen here, whether there's a new stadium or not? It is a change in that. It still sucks to get around town. Sucks.
This is why I wanted to hear from Darren McFarland.
East, west, north, south. Sucks, sucks, sucks. Doesn't matter the time of day. It's awful. Right. New stadium, no new stadium. Ain't gonna change. Comes to traffic. If your argument is traffic, it's bunk, man. To me, you lost me. Traffic is a problem no matter what we do.
All right.
Okay.
Let's hear from, because I could talk, but why? Honestly, let's hear from the next person here talking about, again, we're hearing people at random. There are several clips, but these are people either for or against the stadium speaking last night to city lawmakers.
But to the supporters of the stadium, I would just like to say I hope that your streets are paved with gold. I hope that you never have a person killed by by cars. I hope that your children go to high-performing schools. And I hope you never know what it is to be hungry, because some of us do know those things. And the next time that there is a fight and you have to choose what is right, that you will have the courage to do what is right. Thank you.
All right, so let me respond to that real quick so I can put that in context for you, Darren. That woman there was, and I cut that soundbite, a little short because she went on a relatively long rant there, talking about funding for public schools, funding for roads and infrastructure, funding for affordable housing, and the fact that we are pouring and the $2.1 billion, most of it is state and city money that would be going into it through the forms of taxes or revenue bonds. No matter how you slice it, it's taxpayer dollars in some way, shape, or form that would be going to this. The Titans would be contributing about $840 million of the $2.1 billion. So do the math there. That's the percentage. So this woman is saying that money that we're pouring into the stadium could be better used for affordable housing, for schools, and for infrastructure projects.
Okay, again, not going to push back. It's true. Just like the previous man, this woman is 100% true. But again, I push back is these are things that are always going to be a problem. Always. Always. It is never, those topics are never, ever going to go away. You know why? Because I've been alive for something years.
Yeah.
And it's always been a topic. Always. Doesn't matter where you live, but for the sake of this place, for Nashville and Middle Tennessee, for this area, it has been here. I've already pointed this out on the show. When I first moved here on New Year's Eve, 1997, my first full day in Nashville was New Year's Day, 1998. Guess what the hot topic was in town?
Infrastructure. Traffic.
Infrastructure. No, it was the lottery, right?
Oh.
And
it was
all
lottery
the people
time.
that oppose the lottery.
Sure.
And our schools need help, and our schools need this. Again, all true, 1998.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, lottery's going to give the schools millions upon millions.
And it did.
And they had hundreds of millions over the years since lottery.
Absolutely.
And guess what we're still talking about today?
Unbelievable success.
Hundreds of millions of dollars over the years since the lottery has been been put in place here in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And guess what? Guess what we're talking about in 2022 as we're heading into 2023? What did she just mention?
Schools.
Yeah. So it hasn't been
affordable
fixed.
housing and
hasn't been. None of it's been fixed. You know why? It's never going to be fixed. All you can do is just keep trying to help. Right? You keep trying to pour money into these things because everything she said, you never stop doing. Correct? I mean, really, you never are good. You never go, all good here. We're good. Nothing to see. Nothing to talk about for a good while. Let's revisit in 10 years. Those topics will never be like that. True?
Very, very true to a certain point for sure. And I got more to say, but hold on. I want to get to a couple more here before I jump in because some of these have a theme to it, and I want to get to the theme here, but I want to hear from everybody first. So let's hear from the next gentleman here talking about the stadium issues, whether they're for or against.
I saw some numbers somewhere that 11,000 folk have had to leave Davidson County. Those are folk who got priced out. Everybody makes promises of what this is going to do, but where's the political will to actually deal with some of the major problems? I read an article around this that said that the stadium is tied to the overall East Bank development. You can't separate them. You want to talk about them as though you can, but you can't. We're going to create 4 great new neighborhoods. There are many neighborhoods that could be made great that are already here if there was the political will for that. Can you not propose a 1% hotel tax just for affordable housing, just for fixing up neighborhoods? Can you not approach the state to ask for monies for particular city-type projects? As I said before, this is about political will. and for the issues that have a bearing on people's surviving and or thriving, football doesn't even enter on the page.
Okay. It's all in the same lines, right? Along the same lines. That was a pretty good suggestion on what he said. Another 1%, he said hotel tax,
yeah,
right?
which is part of the package deal that we're using now to try and fund the stadium is a 1% hotel motel tax over the next 30 years or so. And all of that money goes exclusively to help pay for the stadium. So that is what they're using to help get that done. Now, and you know, we got one more person here, but I just want to set my foundation here by saying that the issue that these folks are talking about, even though they are good suggestions on the surface, there is one flaw that folks are overlooking here, I think, a little bit, in that if you give the money to infrastructure, just say, for instance, patching up potholes and making roads better, the problem with that is it doesn't give any money back. You fund it, it's better, people are happier, but there's no additional revenue that comes from making the streets better.
Yep.
There's no additional revenue from creating affordable housing.
Nope.
And I hate that. I'm not saying that that's okay or it's bad or anything like
you're
that.
just stating a fact.
I'm just saying that when you invest in those things, there's a financial term called ROI, return on investment. And when you do that, do you have better people capital? Yes. Do you have happier citizens? You do. But how does that look on a balance sheet? And unfortunately, when you invest in something like a stadium, in theory, and again, I'm not taking a side, I'm just saying in theory, you build a stadium, events come, events generate money, that money goes back.
ROI.
It's a circle.
Yep.
And if you invest in a sidewalk, there's no circle there.
It's just a nice new sidewalk.
And it's great.
Yeah.
And people use it, and it is safer and better for the community. It just doesn't go.
It doesn't have the return. It's just like, look, if we're going to, it's not, I don't think a apples to apples comparison, but for all the the people that complain about, other sports don't get treated the same way. Again, it's just like all these points that are being made. I agree with you, but this is how life works. What is the volleyball team bringing into the university? They're not. They're
Title
bringing,
IX.
right. It's not
the women's sports.
It's the sidewalk, right? It's nice. It's great. I'm glad we have it. I'm glad there is the volleyball team at this school. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
But they're in the red. Like their budget, they're in the red. They're losing money. The school is funding them. They're not bringing in any money. They're not making money. They're in the red on the ledger. So why do you think football and basketball are treated the way they are? Because they fund so much. There is an ROI. There is a return on the investment, right? They build all these facilities. They do this and they do that for those programs, which isn't fair to the other programs because they're like, what about us? We work just as hard. I get that.
Right.
We put in just the same amount of hours, but guess what? You don't bring in the ROI. You don't.
Let's get to this last clip before we have to go to break very quickly. This is one gentleman here who is asking a key question about why the Titans are responsible for certain parts of society. Listen here.
And again, just sitting back and reading comments and researching and really trying to be as objective as possible that the Titans are not solely responsible for the city's affordable housing issues. I do not think the Titans are affordable housing developers. However, organizations like the Titans can step up and contribute to the solution. I think our housing challenge as a city, in my humble opinion, is something that is shared amongst all stakeholders here in Nashville, just not one organization.
All right, let's do this. So step away real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll comment on what we just heard. More of the McFarland Show on the other side. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here. Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi, so you don't have to work from home. Number one in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
So you weigh in on your thoughts. You heard. I mean, they all had kind of the same theme.
Yeah. By the way, welcome back to the McFarland Show, Sports Radio 560 WNSR, here for you each and every day, 2 to 4. We just heard from the citizens of Nashville talking about the brand new stadium deal that was put together. We've heard a variety of opinions. Obviously, I'm in this very deeply because of the other job I do and following city government and certain things that happen around town. I hear the complaints from people. I hear them very strongly. My whole thing with this is people have the right to feel how they want to feel, honestly. All I want people to do, though, is come away with the right information about what it is that's happening here. And I need people to understand the Tennessee Titans do not own the stadium. They do not. They do not own Nissan Stadium. They do not
Is this on? Yeah,
own Nissan Stadium. The city of Nashville owns the stadium. They own the land underneath it and the air above it. The city of Nashville owns the thing, lock, stock, and barrel. The Titans are leasing. They're there, but it's got their name on it, but they do not own the place. They would not own this new place. The city of Nashville would own the new stadium.
They're the tenants. The city is the landlord.
And if I can just get that through people's head, that would be great. Now, the other parts about this are people wanting more money for schools and for infrastructure and things like this. And it goes back to something I mentioned before. It's not that the city doesn't want to give money to those things. These are politicians, everybody. You don't think politicians don't want to stand in front of a bright, shiny new school and cut a ribbon? You don't think politicians want to talk about how many roads that they've paved and how much better the infrastructure is now that they've been in office? You don't think they want to do that? You don't think that the politician wants to be the one standing up there talking about, I solved Nashville's traffic jams, me, so reelect me, move me to higher office? Of course they want to do that. But it's not that simple. They're getting this money because they believe they can make money. When the state of Tennessee decided to allocate the $500 million, $500 million to the city of Nashville to get this thing done for a dome stadium. They were doing it with revenue bonds. What does that mean? Well, that means it's not a donation. That means they're getting money back. They're making money off of this deal. This is a business deal. And a lot of people don't see it as a business deal. They think it's a giveaway to the Titans. And all I'm saying is, if folks would look at it as a business deal instead of a giveaway, I think people would maybe come to different conclusions about what it is that's really happening here. And that's my thoughts on this.
Good education piece right there. If I could spit that out.
But to be continued. They've got 4 more meetings, by the way.
Yeah.
So you'll have a chance to sound off if you would like.
I would think they need to wrap this up. They gotta have this thing wrapped up by summer. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. No.
Way wrapped up.
If this is still going on in May and June, this is bad. That means something's bad's happened.
Okay.
No. We're not going to get that far.
Okay. Good. All right. Deep thoughts. It was kind of like an SNL skit to end the show today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Afternoon stretch is next.
On air and online, Sports